Danny, the question at the end of the segment that kind of popped up was, do any of the struggles of the offense, whether it's a day like today in the most authentic practice they're going to have to a game, or the preseason game, I tread lightly on that because none of the starters played, but plenty of the wide receivers played that are going to play early this season if McLaurin and Noah Brown aren't available. Does any of that move the needle, in your opinion, for Adam Peters as he holds his ground, or should it?
Yeah, a little. This is not 10 out of 10, sky is falling, cancel the season. We're not even close to that yet. But you know me, we've had so many conversations over the years as it comes to the draft, and this is a similar thought for me. My axiom is I would much rather defend great stats than explain away bad ones. So if you're talking about a quarterback, for example, a guy that throws for 50% completions and only, 7 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, but he's a great pro prospect for X, Y, and Z, I don't love that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to explain away why he didn't dominate at a lower level if I'm going to take him high with my draft pick. Conversely, if a guy's prolific, I'd rather go, okay, yeah, but he's still doing it against great competition, etc. We don't have many data points yet. This is so early in this football formulation process for who this team is going to be, etc. The only data we've got has not been good for the offensive side of the football. That's where we are. So I'm going, hey, I noticed that. And if I get another data sample, say this coming Monday against Cincinnati, I'll go, okay, I'll file that away. That's important. And then if they have a sluggish start against the Giants or something to that effect, I'll kind of go, hey, we had a trend line here that was forming, and it's important to acknowledge that so we avoid it or fix it or something to that effect. You remember last year the conversation. Everybody who was arguing with, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but with me or whoever, about the cliff was missing the point. The point wasn't just to point it out and see, look, there's a fire. The point was to address it and put the fire out. And that's what Cliff Kingsbury did. He changed things. So instead of Terry McLaurin standing on the left side all the time and then they'll throw to him like they did that Thursday game against Philly, they moved him around and did some things differently. That's all I was saying. Let's fix it. Let's see the problem and fix it. So far I'm going, okay, I've noticed that. I wrote that down. I'll write it down the next time I get a data point. I mean, I wasn't there. You were. But if we get more and more, then now we've got a trend, and it's something that we should be concerned with. I am not concerned yet. On the scale of 1 to 10, the Geiger counter went one time, and it's like up. It's like a 1 at this point, but it's something. It's now registering, and I've noticed it.
So for me, it is not time to panic. I don't even think it's worth suggesting or using that word.
Mm-hmm.
It's not time if I'm Adam Peters to abandon whatever my plan is. As I talk to my cap guy, Sasta, and we figure out like just how deep are we digging in here. But I believe what they already knew has been confirmed. I would imagine they would have gone into camp understanding that their wide receiver room without McLaurin is not good enough to go on a playoff run. I don't know how they would have thought otherwise. And it is possible that you're open to being impressed. You're open to the possibility that guys are better than you thought they were, or found the fountain of youth, or just look like they're ready to go make plays. And Osborne's feasting, and Gallup looks like he did 5 years ago, and Moore's working dudes. And okay, maybe we feel okay, and we're not as urgent and aggressive and desperate to make sure that this thing gets done for a few weeks, because as long as McLaurin's around for the better part of the season, we're fine. But that's not what's happening. And in fact, the opposite is, in my opinion, which is to say that in man coverage, guys aren't getting open, and quarterbacks, the corners are winning routinely and consistently. And so should it be a major factor? No. Is it an absolute non-story? Absolutely not. No way. And does it mean that McLaurin should now get more money, that you go up $2 million with your offer because you had a bad preseason game with those guys dropping 4 combined passes, or because you had a bad scrimmage? Of course not. That's not what I'm suggesting. But for people that just act like, oh, those guys don't matter, Adam Peters doesn't have to worry about it. Sure he does. He's got a quarterback in his prime, and you can't waste a season of a top 5 type QB in the league potentially who's healthy. And by the way, you went out and you brought back Wagner and you brought back Ertz, and time is ticking on those clocks. Those guys, the hourglass, the sand is falling to the bottom of those jars. You can't just go into the season with Debo in motion and McCaffrey on one side and KJ Osborne on the other. Sorry, you can't do it. They probably will sign someone if it comes down to it and Noah Brown's not ready and Terry's not around that is on a camp roster right now that will be cut because there's nobody out there. Like Amari Cooper is not a guy I'm bringing in. He does not look like he's got a lot left. But they'll bring somebody in who's in football shape, probably.
Right. I mean, you work out so many guys this past weekend. You didn't work out a receiver. I would have.
Well, so they signed a wide receiver early last week in Braylon Sanders,
Mhm.
former UFL DC defender. They've now signed multiple veteran wide receivers since camp started, because I would put Tay Martin on that list as well. So they're not names. They're not the guys like you and I are thinking of.
Sure.
But they have, since the start of camp, brought in 2 players at that position, which is probably more than any other, or right there with linebacker, I would guess. But I think people are anticipating they're going to go sign. Like, they didn't sign Keenan Allen or Amari Cooper, who were out there. Allen's now a Charger again. My guess is they're waiting, and they've got a list of guys that they like, that if someone were to get cut,
someone gets Noah Brown, then
exactly,
they have an answer.
And they'll have a new Noah Brown type player. You're also banking on the fact that Noah Brown's going to be back. I just don't know how long he stays back for. I don't think you can set that in stone.
You look at the injury history. It's hard to count on that guy.
Elijah's in D.C. on Grant and Danny. What's up, Elijah?
What's going on, fellas? Thanks for taking my call.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, man. For me, this is a growing concern, and the concern for me is that I think the byproduct of having not legit receiver play is that there's going to be a gap, and I think 5 is going to have to make up that gap, which is going to put further risk to him, because when the lights get bright, if somebody's not there, we've seen him do it, he's going to wheel the team. He's going to put the team on his back. But he showed me that last year. This year, and the coaches have to have this awareness too, they need to protect him. You have to protect your investment. I'm going to give you this one example. Think of those rocket ships, those big rocket ships that got those big boosters on them. Sure, maybe I don't know but maybe one could get you up there, but you need 2. For me, Terry's like one of those boosters, right? And if you're still talking about carrying a team, if you think you're going to get past certain areas, like a Kansas City or certain things on your schedule, you're going to have all your boosters, man. You have to have all your horses. If they don't have what they need, I think there's going to be a growing concern as how they're going to get the production.
I like the analogy, Elijah, because
Thank you, bud.
This has come up. It came up a bunch last week with callers in one of the topics we did, where they said Jaden Daniels is probably good enough now to elevate other guys and like mask a deficiency of being light at wide receiver. You see this with Josh Allen, or Lamar's done it in the past with the Ravens, where teams will still go out and win 11, 12 games without having great wide receiver play. And that is very possible. I am open to that option, the possibility that Daniels is that good as a running quarterback, as a throwing quarterback with Ertz out of the backfield, running backs like Eckler. Maybe you could get by. But do you want to have to ask him to? Like, to me, that should be the question. The question should not be, is Jaden Daniels good enough without Terry McLaurin to still get you to 11 wins? Why are we having that discussion?
Right.
You don't have to. It's not like Terry McLaurin ruptured something and is unavailable for 17 weeks. You're choosing to put that on his plate. You don't need to.
Right. Eventually you will. When Jaden Daniels makes $80 a year, which is great. I can't wait to pay him that when it's time, but you have to make sacrifices. Like, what kind of team you want to be from Mahomes? You have to give something with Kansas City. They chose to try to find a replacement for Tyreek Hill. They sacrificed a couple years without an elite deep threat, and they became a different team. Defense first, underneath, kind of, working some magic that way. You're going to have to do that. Not yet.
I could come in here and do decent radio shows with 5 minutes prep every day. I choose not to. Why would I put that on myself? I think I could figure it out and make it work, and you wouldn't know the difference. But there's no real reason for me to do that. Let's go to Jupe in West Virginia, listening on the Odyssey app. What's up, Jupe?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? How y'all feeling?
Good, buddy.
Good to hear from you, buddy.
It's good. I'm not concerned just yet. I always like to wait till week 1, game 1. I can kind of get a better sense. But my thought on this is, even though we upgraded on both sides of the ball, I feel like we upgraded on the defensive side with more proven vets like the Von Millers, the Jonathan Jones. And granted, we have Tunsil and Debo on the offensive side, but with the offense, it's all about timing. And it's going to take a little bit of time for them to get that time down, to get that chemistry down, which is probably, to me, could be the reason why the offense is struggling a little bit. Also, too, we still need Terry, because between Terry and Ertz, I call them the 1A, 1B of short-handed catchers. So that's all I got for you guys.
Appreciate you, buddy. Dude. The only saving grace, Quinn mentioned this today, and it's something I have been thinking a lot about. The amount of targets Debo Samuel gets in these practices is crazy. Like, it's just a really, really high number. I think without McLaurin out there, the Daniels-Samuel relationship probably got to a good place faster. and they're probably on a better page because a lot of the stuff that would be going 17's way in practice isn't, and it maybe has helped with the rapport for him and Debo to hit the ground sprinting.